Hi guys, Romansliders here, with a new episode of Gaming Rewind, this time taking a look at the Wipeout series. In many ways, Wipeout can be seen as Sony's answer to F-Zero, as the series features anti-gravity races in a futuristic world where speed is the name of the game. Wipeout is a series of anti-gravity racing games developed by CSE Studio Liverpool, formerly Psygnosis, well known for its fast-paced gameplay, visual design and distinctive music. The first game in the series, Wipeout, was released in 1995, originally for the Sony PlayStation and MS-DOS. A Sega Saturn port was released in 1996. It was the first non-Japanese game for the console. Set in the year 2052, players competed in the F3600 Anti-Gravity Racing League. Players can choose from 4 different racing teams, with 2 ships per team. Each ship has its own attributes in acceleration, top speed, mass and turning radius. Power-up pads are scattered throughout the tracks, divided into offensive and defensive varieties, ranging from shields, turbo boosts, rockets and missiles. These weapons could only stall your opponents, not destroy them. The game has 7 tracks in total, 6 of them located in futuristic versions of countries, like Japan and Canada, with the 7th set on Mars. The game's vehicle designs were based on Matrix Marauders, a 3D grid strategy game with further inspiration taken from other racing games including F-Zero and Super Mario Kart. Wipeout was designed in part by the designers Republic, who worked on the game's visual style and art direction, with the game's distinctive electronic music was composed by Tim Wright under the alias Cold Storage, with additional songs by the Chemical Brothers and Orbital. The soundtracks seek to emulate club music, and in fact one of the launch activities for the game was for PlayStation consoles to play Wipeout in nightclubs. The sequel, Wipeout 2097, or as it was known in the US, Wipeout XL, was released in 1996 for the PlayStation, PC and Sega Saturn. Set over 40 years later, Wipeout 2097 introduces players to the faster and more dangerous F5000 Anti-Gravity Racing League. Gameplay does not differ much from the previous entry. Along with new circuits and weapons, like the Quake Disruptor, the game features improved graphics and new ships. The game also has the new ability to actually damage your opponent's craft, instead of just stalling them as in the original game. It was possible to destroy other opponents, thus removing them from the race entirely. Players could also make pit stops to recharge, although this would cost time in the race. The designers Republic returned to contribute to the visual style and artwork as they did in the first game. Wipeout 64 was released in 1998 and was the only Wipeout game created for the Nintendo 64. The game is set in 2098, just a year after Wipeout 2097, and introduced several new elements to the Wipeout franchise, such as analog control, thanks to the N64's built-in analog stick, effectively ending digital control on the directional pad. Previously, analog control could only be enabled on PlayStation consoles with the use of third-party controllers, namely Namco's Neo controller. Split-screen multiplayer made its debut, as well as challenge mode, where players have to complete a number of challenges, like time trial or eliminating the most opponents from a race. Gameplay is very similar to the previous 2 games, with exactly the same weapons and the addition of the elimination counter, which recorded how many opponents have been eliminated by the player in a race. The majority of the tracks in Wipeout 64 are mirrored versions of the circuits from the first 2 games, with the only original circuit being the Velociter track, gained by completing all 6 race challenges. Wipeout 64 was also one of the few N64 titles to have notable loading times of about 3 to 4 seconds, which was supposedly needed for sound decompression. Wipeout 3 was released in 1999 exclusively for the PlayStation, and the last game to be released on that system. This is one of the few PlayStation games to run in high resolution mode, as a result offering sharper graphics and visuals, as well as having a widescreen option. Developer Psygnosis once again hired design studio the designers Republic to create a simple colour scheme for racecourses to create what they saw as a believable future. The game introduces players to the new F7200 Anti-Gravity Racing League, in addition to the Eliminator mode, where players can earn points for destroying competitors and finishing laps. A special edition of Wipeout 3 was released in Europe in 2000 that featured minor changes to gameplay and 8 additional courses from previous Wipeout games. Wipeout Fusion was released in 2002 for the PlayStation 2 and was the only original Wipeout game to be released on that system. Players now competed in the F9000 Anti-Gravity Racing League and is set in the year 2160. Each track is a group of 3 tracks, each of which can be run forward or in reverse mode. Most tracks now contain a trackless section, such as a wide field, that offers a number of paths for players to take, as well as shortcuts. Challenge mode, introduced in Wipeout 64, has been enhanced. with a greater number of challenges, selected from race, time trial or elimination. Each challenge must be completed with a medal to unlock the next challenge in the series. Credits obtained from races can be abused to upgrade ships and improve attributes from acceleration, shield strength and lateral ability. The Wipeout series made its first appearance on the PlayStation Portable with Wipeout Pure and Wipeout Pulse, released in 2005 and 2007 respectively. Both games made use of the PSP's Wi-Fi ability for multiplayer racing. Wipeout Pure streamlined gameplay and track design, returning it to the style of earlier games, therefore offering a pure experience, as in the title. In Wipeout Pulse, tracks come in black and white varieties, although these two types only determine if you will race the track forwards or backwards. Wipeout HD was released in 2008 for the PlayStation 3 as a downloadable title on the PlayStation Store. 8 tracks are available in Wipeout HD, all of which are remastered versions from Wipeout Pure and Wipeout Pulse. A year later, an expansion pack was released entitled Wipeout HD Fury that consisted of 8 new tracks, 30 new ship models, and new game modes Eliminator, Zone Battle, and Detonator. Wipeout 2048 was released to the PlayStation Vita in 2012 as the launch title. The game is set much earlier in the Wipeout chronology, as anti-gravity racing is seen as a new sport, making it a prequel. Whilst retaining the core racing mechanics of the franchise, Wipeout 2048 makes use of the touch-sensitive screens for firing and absorbing weapons, and also taking advantage of the Vita's accelerometers and gyroscopes for optional tilt control. The single-player campaign takes place through the first 3 years of the Anti-Gravity Racing Championships, from 2048 to 2050. Also featured in the single-player campaign are combat events, where instead of racing, players attack ships to earn points. Cross-platform online racing is also available with the PlayStation 3 version of Wipeout HD. The Wipeout series is a fun and innovative franchise, featuring both exhilarating gameplay and original graphic designs, making it a staple of the PlayStation. Well, that does it for this episode of Gaming Rewind. Thanks so much for watching, I really do appreciate it. If you liked what you saw, let me know by leaving a comment, rate this video and subscribe. Like my Facebook page to see what I'm doing next, and until next time, peace out guys.